And the message is, don't panic. Robots are not coming for your job just yet. However, at least 120 million workers will need to be retrained over the next 3 years as a result of artificial intelligence and automation. That's according to a recent survey from tech giant IBM. And there's more bad news. It takes more than 10 times as long to retrain you today than it did in 2014. That's 36 days compared to 3. Wow. Diane Gherson, Chief Human Resources Officer at IBM, joins me now. There's so many great stats in there that we'll go through, but just talk to me about how you built the survey, because it's, what, 48 different countries?
48 countries, about 5,500 executives from different companies. And this is the second time we've run it. We ran it a couple of years ago.
Okay. One of the things that stood out to me, if you go back a few years, people were saying you need to learn how to use computers, you need to be able to code. This shows things like technical and digital proficiencies dropping down the rankings here of what's important, and I think actually surprising things potentially are rising. Talk us through that.
Well, look, I think the first thing that executives realized was they needed new skills. They were entering into the digital era. Oh my goodness, I need more computer skills, more people who can do software programming and so forth. And so they went out and they hired them. But then they realized, wait a minute, I'm in the digital era, I have to do work differently. And these people have to continue to learn, and they need to work together in a collaborative way. They have to be open to new ways of working. That's a whole other set of skills I haven't been looking for. And so I think what happened was number 1 and 2 were the computer skills and the STEM skills and software programming. And now they've dropped down to number 6 and 8. And above that, you've got openness to adaptability, agility, working as teams, time management. Why? Because we're working in a much less industrialized environment. The digital era requires that we work in an iterative way, that we work in teams, that we're constantly adapting to external signals and pivoting.
I saw this statistic from the World Economic Forum. 65% of the children entering primary school in 2017 will have jobs that do not yet exist and for which their education will fail to prepare them. I mean, some part of that you can argue is a failure of education, but another part of that goes to your point. You just have to be flexible because you literally don't know what the future holds.
That's right. And it's called mental fluidity or adaptability. And this is becoming really, really important. And it's something that in PTech, which is one of the concepts of new kinds of schools where you don't need a 4-year degree, that's the major thing that they're training people in, because they realize they're training them for jobs that don't exist yet.
Okay, the other thing was the timing. It's taking 10 times more to learn those soft skills. How do you teach somebody to be empathetic, to be a great team player if they're not, if they haven't already got that in them?
It's a culture. It's not just an individual. You know, you need the whole group, right, to operate in a different way. And I think that's really what was coming through. This is no longer send them off to some episodic training program. It's actually got to do work differently.
The other quite revealing part of your survey was that 41% of the CEOs saying they don't have the people, the resources to tackle this. I'd call this a crisis. We're talking 120 million jobs, 3 years.
Right. We've got a huge talent shortage looming, and they have not yet attacked it.
What do we need to be doing? Because I know IBM is spending a lot of money. Big companies are spending a lot of money. What about for the smaller ones? How do you even approach tackling this?
Well, look, I mean, I think it's time for us to put skills at the center of our talent strategy. Too often, I mean, you look at any company, do they have a head of skills? You know, probably not, right? They spend a lot of time figuring out what job's bigger than another one. That's the industrial era. Now it's what skills are deeper than the next person's. That's the kind of thing we need to invest in.
Stop judging people by their grades, potentially, and actually look for some of the softer skills.
Because that matters more. That's the currency for advancement.
Got to be flexible.
Right.
Lesson in life. We're always going to be learning. I don't have to be happy or sad about that, quite frankly, but it's the reality. Dan, fantastic to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Julia.